How are you all feeling? Well, boy, do I have a surprise for all of you. By the time this talk's over, I'm pretty sure you're all going to feel noticeably better than you do right now. And this is the kind of change that a pharmaceutical drug would struggle to replicate. But first, let me explain a few things. To use music to heal, it's actually human nature. So if you think about it, a mother instinctively soothes her baby by simply singing a song or humming a melody, whether she's been trained musically or not. And it might surprise you to learn that the didgeridoo is one of the oldest forms of music therapy we know of. But the First Nations people of Australia weren't the only ancient human culture to harness the power of music to heal. We see examples in Native Americans who use wind instruments, in Tibetan monks who still practice sound healing with bowls today. You could look at the Aztecs, the Incas, the ancient Greeks. I mean, heck, the list goes on. And it's because music is inside all of us, and it's far more powerful than most of us give it credit for. Now, in case you can't tell, I love music. My happy place is playing one of my many instruments with other people, but what brings me the most joy is to sing. And sharing that joy has become my life's work, but I'm not a singing teacher. I grew up playing music with my family. I played with my sister, my parents, my aunties and my uncles, my grandparents, and my opa. And loved my opa. He worked hard his whole life to provide incredible opportunities for my dad and his brothers. And he was the kind of guy who retired to work an orchard rather than relax. But when I was a teenager, he developed Alzheimer's disease. And I got to experience firsthand the tragedy that impacts over 55 million people around the world and is sadly growing by over 10 million new cases every single year. Dementia. While dementia is a death sentence with no known cure, it doesn't mean there can't be many moments of joy that follow a diagnosis. I mean, there's so much stigma about the condition, and yet many people can live out perfectly happy and wonderful lives despite it. Now, I think it's really important that I clarify that whilst Alzheimer's is a disease, dementia actually describes a collection of symptoms. So everybody who's living with Alzheimer's disease is experiencing dementia, but not everybody who's experiencing dementia is living with Alzheimer's disease. There are many other forms of dementia, such as Lewy body and vascular, but put in simple terms, dementia describes the progressive loss of cognitive function that probably you and I would most often associate with memory loss. Now, I want you all to come on a quick journey with me. Are you up for it? Yeah? Okay. I want you all to close your eyes. Take a deep breath in. Let it out. Now imagine you're waking up for the day. You open your eyes. You look around, but you don't recognise the room you're in. And maybe this makes you feel a little uneasy, so you call out for help. And no one answers immediately, but you can hear some voices down the hall, so you call out again. And before too long, someone comes into the room wearing a mask. They know who you are, but you have no idea who they are. And they proceed to ask you to sit up on the bed and to get up for the day before asking you to take your clothes off for a shower. Okay, I'm going to stop there. You can open your eyes. But how did that make you feel? Maybe a little uneasy? That's a brief glimpse into the potential daily reality of someone who's living with advanced dementia. They are frightened. And to cope with the anxiety this causes, they're likely to either retreat inward and hide from the world, or maybe even lash out in self-defense. And these changing behaviours are commonly observed in people living with dementia, and whilst there is no known cure, there is reprieve. It might sound simple, but playing familiar music could dramatically improve that situation. Music can ground that person back into a place of familiarity, making them much easier to communicate with and helping to make activities of daily living, like having a shower, much more joyful and less difficult. You see, our musical memories are far less impacted by dementia than other memories like names and faces. And when we stimulate those memories with music, we set off a chain reaction in the brain that, when looked at on an fMRI scan, is the equivalent of Christmas lights turning on. It's magic. And in that state, the person is much more likely to remember the names and the faces of people around them. They've got much better control over their fine and gross motor skills, making things like feeding, chewing, swallowing easier. But most importantly, they are much more likely to remain calm because they're less scared. Now, I work with people living with dementia by integrating precision music into their daily care routine. Precision music is defined as music that is personalised to that individual, but that can alter their emotional state. You see, every sound we hear is triggering an emotional response in us. So it's no wonder that music has the power to change the way that we feel. The people I work with have often forgotten what music they love, and they commonly live in an audio environment that's full of distress rather than calm. So a little bit like that shower scenario that we all just experienced just then, their days are too often filled with the fear of the unknown. But recent research from Toronto University suggests that playing precision music on a regular basis can actually slow down the rate of cognitive decline. And this infers that a daily brain workout of your favourite music might actually help prevent dementia for those of us who are lucky enough to still have the opportunity to do something about it. And hey, at the very least, it's going to put a smile on your face. So I want you to all experience this for yourself when you go home tonight. Think back to when you were, 15, 16 years of age. What song or album was on repeat that you haven't heard in years? Was it Jagged Little Pill by Alanis Morissette, or maybe Nevermind by Nirvana? Or am I just showing my age? Play that music and see what happens. I bet there's a good chance you're going to smile. You're going to feel a rush of positive emotions, and you might even have flashbacks to memories that you forgot were even there. And this same reaction can still be experienced on a daily basis by someone living with dementia. But one way we can go even deeper with this experience is to sing. Because when we sing, we not only light up the brain, as I explained earlier, but we also release a flood of hormones that make us feel happy. And I've had the privilege of singing with some incredible people who are using music to bring joy to their journey with dementia. And they've agreed to come here today so that we can all experience the joy of singing together. So without further ado, I'd love to welcome to the stage the Memory Lane Choir from St Luke's here in Sydney. Give them a big round of applause. And we would love it if you could all join us. So when I give you the signal, I would really love it if you could let go of all your inhibitions, sing at the top of your lungs, so that we can all experience the magic of precision music together. All right. Hey team, how are we?
Look amazing.
We're ready to roll?
Ready to roll.
Awesome.
Ready to roll.
All right, I expect that you're all going to know the words to this, but this choir meets every week at St Luke's in Potts Point here in Sydney, and we have an absolute ball singing. I love it. It's the highlight of my job, to be honest, getting to sing with these lovely people. But if you do know anybody who's living with dementia or going on this journey, I highly encourage them to join a choir. If they're in the Sydney area, just get in touch with us and come to St Luke's. We have a ball. But Robert, take it away. side of life. Diddle, 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 diddle. Always look on the bright side.